In a quiet town, where the sun touched every corner with gentle warmth, lived a woman named Maria. She was a maid who worked for a wealthy family in a big house at the end of Maple Street. Maria was kind and hard-working. Every morning, before the birds even began to sing, she would wake up, dress in her simple uniform, and head to the house where she worked. The house was large and beautiful, with tall windows and flower gardens that were carefully cared for by gardeners. The family that lived there was very important in the town. The mother, Mrs. Thompson, was a businesswoman known for her sharp mind and strong personality. She often worked late and had little time to spend with her daughter, Lily. Maria loved her job, even if it was tiring. She took pride in keeping the house clean and neat. But she was always careful to stay in the background. She knew her place in the household. She never spoke too much or made waves. Maria was quiet and respectful, and the family trusted her to do her work well. One warm afternoon, after Maria had finished dusting the living room and cleaning the floors, she felt very tired. She went to the small kitchen at the back of the house, where the cooks had prepared some food for the staff. Maria was allowed to take some leftovers home sometimes, but today she chose to eat quietly in the garden instead. Under the shade of a big oak tree near the garden wall, Maria sat down on a small wooden bench. The sun made soft patterns through the leaves, and a gentle breeze cooled the warm air. She opened her small wrapped meal, some bread, cheese, and a little fruit. As she ate slowly, enjoying the calm moment, she noticed a little girl sitting alone on the other side of the garden fence, near the park. The girl looked no more than 7 years old. Her clothes were simple and a little dirty, but her eyes shone brightly, full of curiosity and hope. She was watching the birds in the park but seemed very quiet. Maria felt something in her heart. The girl looked hungry. Maria looked at her own food. There was enough for both of them. Without thinking much, she stood up and walked over to the fence. "Would you like some?" she asked softly, holding out a piece of bread. The girl looked up, surprised. She hesitated for a moment but then nodded slowly. "Yes, please," she whispered. Maria smiled warmly and broke a piece of bread for the girl. "Here, you can have this," she said kindly. The girl took the bread with small hands and began to eat carefully. "Thank you," she said quietly. Maria sat down beside the fence, watching the girl eat. "What's your name?" she asked gently. "Lily," the girl said, looking shy but happy. Maria felt a strange feeling of warmth in her chest. "It's a nice name," she said with a smile. "Do you come here often?" Lily nodded. "Sometimes. My mother is very busy," she said softly. Maria noticed the sadness in the girl's eyes. She wanted to say more but held back. Instead, she offered the rest of her meal. "If you want, you can have the rest too." Lily smiled brightly. "Thank you," she said, and for a moment, she looked like any other happy child, free from worry. As the sun began to set, Maria stood up. "You should go home now. Your mother might be waiting for you." Lily nodded again, then looked at Maria with a shy smile. "Thank you for sharing," she said softly. Maria waved gently and walked back toward the house. She did not know that this small act of kindness would bring her closer to the family in ways she never imagined. What Maria didn't realize was that Lily's mother was Mrs. Thompson, the same Mrs. Thompson who employed her as a maid. Mrs. Thompson was strong and proud, and she had high expectations for everyone in her house. Yet, the little girl she cared for so deeply was the very one Maria had shared her simple meal with. This quiet moment, under the oak tree, was the start of something new. It was a bridge between two very different worlds, the world of a hard-working maid and the world of a rich family. But for now, Maria only knew one thing: helping a child was the right thing to do. As Maria walked back through the big house, she felt a little lighter. She thought about Lily's smile and the bright eyes that looked so full of hope. Maria whispered to herself, "Everyone deserves kindness." That evening, the house was quiet. Mrs. Thompson was busy with work in her study, unaware of the small, kind moment that had taken place just outside her window. Maria cleaned the floors one last time and then rested in her small room in the servants' quarters. She thought about the girl, Lily, and hoped she would be okay. The night grew deep, and the stars twinkled softly above the town. Somewhere nearby, a child dreamed of kindness and friendship. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the quiet town, sending soft rays through the tall windows of the big house on Maple Street. Inside, Mrs. Thompson sat at her large wooden desk, surrounded by papers and a glowing computer screen. Her face was serious and focused, but behind her eyes was a trace of worry. She cared deeply for her daughter, Lily, but life was busy and full of responsibilities. Running a big company was not easy, and often she had little time to spend with the child she loved most. Downstairs, Maria was already awake, preparing the house for the day. She moved quietly through the rooms, dusting shelves, polishing the silver, and making the beds with careful hands. But in her mind, Maria could not forget the small moment from yesterday, the girl in the park, the hungry look in her eyes, and the soft smile when Maria shared her food. That morning, while cleaning the kitchen, Maria heard the soft sound of footsteps. It was Lily, walking in with her small backpack, her eyes curious but a little sad. "Good morning, Lily," Maria said gently, placing a warm plate of food on the table. "I made something for you." Lily's eyes widened. "For me?" she asked, her voice soft but hopeful. Maria nodded. "Yes. You looked hungry yesterday. It's not much, but I hope it helps." Lily smiled shyly and sat down to eat. Maria watched quietly, feeling a strange mix of happiness and worry. Just then, Mrs. Thompson came downstairs. Her sharp eyes noticed Lily at the table with Maria. Her face changed for a moment, a flicker of surprise and something else Maria could not understand. "Lily," Mrs. Thompson said softly, "did you eat already?" Lily nodded. "Yes, Mama. Maria gave me some food yesterday when I was hungry." Mrs. Thompson's eyes searched Maria's face. Maria lowered her gaze, unsure how the woman would react. Mrs. Thompson's voice was calm but firm. "Thank you, Maria. That was very kind of you." Maria smiled nervously. "It was nothing, ma'am. I just wanted to help." Mrs. Thompson nodded and then turned to Lily. "Come, Lily. Let's get ready for school." As they walked away, Maria felt a sudden warmth in her chest. The woman who was her employer had just thanked her, something that did not happen often. Later that day, Maria returned to her chores but found her mind drifting to the little girl and her mother. She wondered what it was like to be Mrs. Thompson, so busy, so important, but still caring for her child. Maria's life was very different. She lived in a small room behind the house, simple and quiet. She had no children of her own, and sometimes, the loneliness was hard to bear. But moments like the one with Lily reminded her that kindness could cross any wall. As the afternoon sun began to warm the garden, Maria decided to take a short break. She walked to the park where she had met Lily and sat on the same wooden bench under the big oak tree. To her surprise, Lily was already there, waiting quietly. When Maria sat down, the girl smiled shyly and held out a small drawing. "It's for you," Lily said softly. Maria took the paper gently. It was a simple picture of two people holding hands under a bright sun. The colors were bright and cheerful, and Maria felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you, Lily," Maria said, touched by the gift. "It's beautiful." Lily smiled wider. "I like you. You are nice." Maria's heart warmed. She looked at the girl, so full of hope despite the challenges she faced. "I like you too, Lily." They sat quietly for a few moments, watching the birds fly across the blue sky. It was a peaceful moment, shared between two souls from very different worlds. But as the sun began to lower, Maria knew she had to return to the house. "You should go home now, Lily," she said gently. "Your mother will be waiting." Lily nodded, standing up and hugging Maria softly. "Thank you, Maria. For everything." Maria smiled and watched as Lily skipped back toward her home. She felt a quiet joy, but also a sadness, knowing that their time together was limited by the rules of the world they lived in. That evening, after dinner, Mrs. Thompson sat in her study, thinking about the maid and her daughter. She realized how little she truly knew about Maria's life outside the big house. The next day, Mrs. Thompson called Maria to her office. Maria felt nervous but tried to hide it. "Maria," Mrs. Thompson began, "I want to thank you for taking care of Lily. I know she sometimes feels lonely, and your kindness means a lot." Maria looked surprised but pleased. "Thank you, ma'am. It is my pleasure." Mrs. Thompson paused, then said, "I also want you to know that I trust you. If you ever need anything, please tell me." Maria nodded, feeling a mix of gratitude and disbelief. No one had ever spoken to her like this before. As Maria left the office, she felt a new hope rising inside her. Maybe, just maybe, things could change. For the first time, she believed that kindness could build bridges between people, no matter where they came from. And in the quiet house on Maple Street, two lives were slowly beginning to connect, one small act of kindness at a time. Days passed, and the rhythm of life at the big house on Maple Street moved as usual. Maria continued her work with quiet dedication, and Mrs. Thompson kept busy with meetings and phone calls. But something had begun to change quietly between the people in the house, especially between Maria and little Lily. One sunny morning, Maria was cleaning the windows in the living room when she heard soft footsteps behind her. She turned around and saw Lily standing there, her eyes bright and hopeful. "Maria, can I come with you to the garden today?" Lily asked, her voice full of excitement. Maria smiled warmly. "Of course, Lily. Let's go." The garden was large and full of colorful flowers, with green grass that stretched wide under the bright sky. Maria and Lily walked slowly, enjoying the warm sunlight and the fresh air. For Lily, the garden was a place of magic, a small escape from the busy house where her mother worked so hard. As they walked, Lily talked about her favorite things, her school, the books she loved, and her dreams of becoming an artist one day. Maria listened carefully, feeling a special joy in hearing the child's hopes and dreams. "Do you like to draw, Lily?" Maria asked softly. Lily nodded. "Yes. I like to draw flowers and animals. Sometimes, I try to draw my mother and me." Maria smiled. "That sounds wonderful. Maybe one day, you can show me your drawings." Lily's eyes sparkled. "I will. I promise." After a while, they sat on a small bench under the big oak tree. Maria reached into her pocket and took out a small sandwich she had saved from the kitchen. "Would you like to share this with me?" she asked kindly. Lily's face lit up. "Yes, please." As they shared the sandwich, their laughter and stories filled the quiet garden. For Maria, these moments were precious. She felt like she was not just a maid, but someone important in the life of this little girl. Meanwhile, inside the house, Mrs. Thompson noticed the growing friendship between her daughter and Maria. She thought about how busy she was and how much she missed spending time with Lily. Seeing the two together made her realize how important kindness and trust were. One afternoon, Mrs. Thompson called Maria to the study again. This time, her tone was softer and more personal. "Maria," she said, "I want to thank you for being there for Lily. She needs someone like you, someone who cares." Maria felt her cheeks warm. "Thank you, ma'am. It means a lot to hear that." Mrs. Thompson paused and looked thoughtful. "I have been so busy that sometimes I forget what matters most. I want you to know that you are a part of this family, too." Maria was surprised and deeply touched by the words. She had never felt like she belonged to a family before. "I will do my best, ma'am," she said quietly. Days turned into weeks, and the small bond between Maria and Lily grew stronger. Every chance they had, they met in the garden to share stories, food, and laughter. Lily loved to bring her drawings to show Maria, who admired every picture with genuine praise. One day, Lily asked Maria, "Can you teach me how to cook?" Maria smiled. "I would love to. Next weekend, when your mother is busy, we can cook together." The thought of cooking with Lily made Maria's heart happy. It was a simple joy, but for both of them, it was a chance to build memories. However, life was not without its challenges. Some of the other staff members in the house whispered quietly when they saw Maria and Lily together. They didn't understand the kindness between a maid and the boss's daughter. Maria heard the whispers but chose to ignore them. She knew her heart was in the right place. One afternoon, as Maria and Lily walked home from school together, they stopped by the park near the house. Lily looked up at Maria and said, "I wish my mother could spend more time with me." Maria's eyes softened. "She loves you very much, Lily. Sometimes, grown ups have hard jobs, but they still care." Lily nodded slowly but looked sad. "I know. But I want to spend more time with her." Maria took Lily's small hand in hers. "Maybe one day, things will change." Lily smiled faintly and squeezed Maria's hand. "Thank you for being my friend." Maria's heart filled with warmth. "And thank you for being mine." That evening, after Maria finished her work, she sat quietly in her small room. She thought about Lily's words and the kindness she had received from the family. She wondered what the future held. For the first time, Maria felt hope not just for herself, but for the little girl who had become her friend. She dreamed of a future where kindness could break down the walls between their worlds. And somewhere inside the big house, Mrs. Thompson watched her daughter's drawings on the fridge, a picture of two people under a bright sun, and smiled quietly. It was a reminder that even in the busiest lives, love and kindness could grow in the smallest moments. The days grew warmer as summer approached, and the big house on Maple Street seemed to glow with sunlight and quiet hope. The friendship between Maria and Lily had become stronger. They shared small secrets, laughter, and dreams during their moments together in the garden or at the park. One afternoon, Maria was arranging fresh flowers in the living room when Mrs. Thompson called her quietly. Maria felt a little nervous as she walked to the study. Mrs. Thompson looked at her kindly, with a softer expression than usual. "Maria," Mrs. Thompson began, "I want to talk to you about something important." Maria nodded, unsure what to expect. "Yes, ma'am." Mrs. Thompson took a deep breath. "I have noticed how close you and Lily have become. It makes me happy to see her smiling again." Maria smiled gently. "Lily is a wonderful child. She deserves happiness." Mrs. Thompson looked thoughtful. "I want to ask you for a favor. There are times when I cannot be with Lily because of work. Would you be willing to look after her for a few hours now and then? Just to keep her company and help her with small things." Maria's heart beat faster. She felt honored and a little surprised. "I would be happy to help, ma'am." "Good," Mrs. Thompson said with a small smile. "I trust you, Maria. Lily needs someone kind and patient." Maria nodded, feeling proud but also a bit nervous. Taking care of a child was a big responsibility. But she was ready. That very afternoon, after finishing her chores, Maria waited for Lily near the school gate. Lily ran to her with a big smile and a small backpack. "Maria, will you come to the park with me?" Lily asked eagerly. "Of course," Maria said. Together, they walked to the park, the warm sun shining down on them. They found their favorite bench under the big oak tree, where they often sat to talk and laugh. Lily took out a book from her bag, a picture book with bright colors and happy stories. Let's read together, Lily said, leaning on Maria's shoulder. Maria smiled and opened the book. They read the stories out loud, sometimes laughing, sometimes imagining new adventures. It felt like a magical moment where everything was perfect. After reading, Lily looked up at Maria and said, "Will you help me with my homework tomorrow?" Maria nodded. "I will. We can do it together." As the days went by, Maria spent more time with Lily, helping her with school, playing games, and cooking simple meals. Their bond grew deeper, and Lily's happiness seemed to grow with every passing day. But not everyone was happy about this new closeness. One morning, Maria overheard two of the other maids whispering as she passed by the kitchen. "Why does Mrs. Thompson trust Maria so much?" "She's just a maid," one said quietly. "Maybe she wants to cause trouble," the other replied with a suspicious tone. Maria's heart sank. She knew some people looked down on her because of her job. But she reminded herself that kindness was stronger than whispers. Later that day, Maria found Mrs. Thompson in the garden. She decided to tell her what she had heard. "Mrs. Thompson," Maria said softly, "some of the staff don't understand our friendship. They think I don't belong." Mrs. Thompson looked at her with a serious but kind expression. "Maria, people sometimes fear what they don't understand. But I see your heart. You have shown nothing but kindness and care." Maria felt tears in her eyes but smiled. "Thank you, ma'am. That means a lot to me." Mrs. Thompson placed a hand gently on Maria's shoulder. "Keep being yourself. You are part of this family now." That evening, Maria sat with Lily in the small kitchen, helping her prepare a simple meal. They laughed as they chopped vegetables and stirred the pot, enjoying the quiet happiness of the moment. Lily looked at Maria with bright eyes. "I like spending time with you." Maria smiled warmly. "I like spending time with you too, Lily." As night fell, Maria tucked Lily into bed in her small, cozy room. Lily held Maria's hand tightly and whispered, "Thank you for being my friend." Maria kissed her forehead gently. "Always, Lily. Always." After leaving the room, Maria returned to her own quarters, feeling a deep sense of belonging she had never felt before. Outside, the stars shone brightly, as if celebrating the new friendship and trust that had grown quietly in the house. The big house on Maple Street was no longer just a place of work and duty, it was becoming a home filled with kindness, hope, and unexpected love. The days in the big house on Maple Street flowed with a peaceful routine. Maria and Lily's friendship blossomed with each passing moment. They shared stories, laughter, and little lessons that filled both their hearts with warmth. Maria found joy in helping Lily with her homework and spending quiet afternoons in the garden, while Lily's bright smile grew even brighter. But life, as always, had its challenges. One morning, as Maria was tidying the study, she heard a soft knock on the door. It was Mrs. Thompson. Her face looked serious but calm. "Maria," she said, "I have something to ask of you." Maria listened carefully as Mrs. Thompson explained. The company was planning an important event, a big party for clients and friends, and the house needed to be perfect. Mrs. Thompson wanted Maria to help prepare, but she also wanted her to keep a close eye on Lily during the event. "It will be a long night," Mrs. Thompson warned gently. "Are you willing to take care of Lily while I am busy?" Maria felt both honored and nervous. The event was important, and the house would be full of guests, strangers who might not understand her place. "I will do my best, ma'am," Maria said, her voice steady. The day of the event arrived quickly. The house was filled with light and music, and people dressed in beautiful clothes came and went, chatting and laughing. Maria worked quietly in the background, making sure everything was in order. Lily stayed close to Maria's side. The little girl wore a pretty dress, and her eyes sparkled with excitement and a little nervousness. "Maria, will you stay with me?" "I don't like all the noise," Lily whispered. Maria smiled and nodded. Of course, Lily. I am here. As the evening went on, the house grew busier. The guests enjoyed the food and music, but Maria noticed some strange looks when they saw her with Lily. Some whispered quietly, their voices filled with surprise and doubt. Maria felt uncomfortable but did not show it. She focused on making Lily feel safe and happy. At one point, a woman approached them. She was dressed elegantly and spoke with a sharp tone. "Is this your maid?" she asked Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson looked at the woman calmly. "Yes, Maria is part of our family." The woman raised her eyebrows. "A maid looking after the boss's daughter? That's unusual." Mrs. Thompson smiled gently. "Maria has earned our trust. She cares for Lily like family." The woman said no more, but Maria felt the weight of her words. She wondered if people would ever accept her as more than just a maid. Later that night, after the guests had left and the house was quiet, Mrs. Thompson found Maria cleaning the last of the rooms. "Maria," she said softly, "thank you for your help tonight. You did well." Maria looked up, tired but proud. "Thank you, ma'am. I only wanted to do my best." Mrs. Thompson nodded. "You have shown great strength and kindness. Lily is lucky to have you." Maria felt tears rise but smiled. "I am lucky to know Lily." The next day, Lily came to Maria with a small paper in her hand. "Look," she said excitedly. "I drew a picture of the party." Maria took the drawing carefully. It showed Lily and Maria standing together, smiling under a big bright sun. The colors were bright and full of hope. "It's beautiful," Maria said. "You are a great artist." Lily beamed. "Thank you, Maria. I want to be like you, kind and brave." Maria's heart swelled with happiness. "You already are, Lily. You already are." But the challenges were not over. The whispers among the staff continued, and Maria knew she had to stay strong. One afternoon, Maria found herself alone with Mrs. Thompson in the kitchen. She took a deep breath and spoke honestly. "Ma'am, sometimes I feel people do not respect me because of my job. But I want to be more than a maid. I want to be part of this family." Mrs. Thompson looked at her with respect and kindness. "Maria, you are more than your job. Your heart, your kindness, your courage, that is what makes you family." Maria smiled, feeling a new strength inside her. From that day forward, Maria walked with more confidence. She knew the road might be difficult, but she also knew she was not alone. With Lily by her side and Mrs. Thompson's support, Maria was ready to face whatever came next. In the quiet moments of the house, under the warm sunlight or the soft moonlight, a bond stronger than words grew, a bond of trust, respect, and love. And for Maria, that was the greatest treasure of all. The summer days were growing longer, and the big house on Maple Street was filled with the warm sounds of laughter and life. Maria and Lily's friendship had become a bright spot in the busy world around them. They had shared so many moments, quiet afternoons in the garden, homework sessions, and even cooking lessons. The house felt more like a home than ever before. One bright morning, Maria was in the kitchen preparing breakfast when she heard a soft knock on the door. It was Lily, holding a small basket filled with wildflowers she had picked from the garden. "Good morning, Maria," Lily said happily. "I made these for you." Maria's eyes softened. "Thank you, Lily. They are beautiful." Lily smiled shyly and sat down at the kitchen table. "Do you want to go to the park today? We could have a picnic." Maria thought for a moment and then nodded. "That sounds wonderful." Later that day, they packed a small picnic and walked to their favorite spot under the big oak tree. The park was quiet and peaceful, with birds singing and children playing at a distance. It was the perfect place to escape the busy house and just enjoy the simple joy of being together. As they ate, Lily looked up at Maria and said, "Maria, do you think my mother will have more time for me soon?" Maria smiled gently. I hope so, Lily. Sometimes grown ups have a lot of work, but they always love their children. Lily nodded but looked a little sad. I miss her when she is busy. Maria reached out and held Lily's small hand. You are very brave, Lily. And you have me, too. Lily smiled, her eyes shining. Thank you. Suddenly, as they were packing up, a sudden rainstorm began. The sky darkened quickly, and heavy raindrops started to fall. Oh no! Lily cried, standing up quickly. We have to get home. Maria grabbed the basket and took Lily's hand. They ran through the wet grass, laughing as the rain soaked their clothes. The air was fresh and cool, and despite the storm, there was a strange happiness in their hearts. When they finally reached the house, soaked but smiling, Mrs. Thompson was waiting at the door. She looked worried at first but then smiled warmly. You two look like you had quite an adventure, she said. Lily laughed. We got caught in the rain, but it was fun. Mrs. Thompson looked at Maria and said softly, Thank you for taking care of her. I can see how much she trusts you. Maria smiled, feeling the warmth of those words. She is a special girl, ma'am. That evening, as the rain continued outside, Mrs. Thompson invited Maria to sit with her in the study. I want to talk to you about something important, Mrs. Thompson said. Maria listened carefully as Mrs. Thompson explained that she had been thinking about how hard Maria worked and how much she cared for Lily. I would like to offer you a better position in the house, Mrs. Thompson said kindly. Not just as a maid, but as someone who helps care for Lily and the family. You have earned my trust. Maria felt a rush of emotions: surprise, gratitude, and happiness. She never expected such kindness. Thank you, ma'am, Maria said softly. I will do my best. Mrs. Thompson smiled. I know you will. From that day forward, Maria's role in the house changed. She was no longer just a maid, she became a special part of the family, helping with Lily's needs and sharing in the daily life of the household. The other staff began to notice the change and slowly started to treat Maria with more respect. The whispers quieted, replaced by nods and kind smiles. One afternoon, Maria and Lily were sitting in the garden when Mrs. Thompson joined them. The three of them talked and laughed together, a true family in that peaceful moment. Maria looked at Mrs. Thompson and said, Thank you for trusting me. I feel like I belong. Mrs. Thompson smiled warmly. You do belong, Maria. You always have. As the days went by, the bond between Maria, Lily, and Mrs. Thompson grew stronger. They faced challenges together, supported one another, and found happiness in the simple moments. And through it all, Maria learned that kindness and trust could break down walls and bring people together in ways she had never imagined. The big house on Maple Street was no longer just a place of work, it was a home filled with love, hope, and the promise of a brighter future. The seasons changed, and the big house on Maple Street blossomed with the warmth of friendship and family. Maria, Lily, and Mrs. Thompson had grown close in a way none of them expected. Their lives had intertwined, creating a bond that was strong and full of hope. One bright morning, Maria stood in the garden, watching Lily run and play with other children from the neighborhood. Lily's laughter rang out like music, pure and joyful. Maria's heart swelled with happiness. Mrs. Thompson joined her, carrying a cup of tea. She looks happy, Mrs. Thompson said softly. Maria nodded. She is. And I'm grateful to be part of her life. Mrs. Thompson smiled. So am I. You have become family to us, Maria. I want you to know that. Maria looked at Mrs. Thompson with tears in her eyes. Thank you, ma'am. I never thought I would feel this way, like I truly belong. Mrs. Thompson took Maria's hand gently. You deserve it. You have shown kindness, strength, and love. Just then, Lily ran up to them, holding a drawing in her hand. Look, she said excitedly. I drew a picture of us all together. Maria and Mrs. Thompson looked at the drawing. It showed 3 figures standing in the garden under a bright sun, holding hands. The colors were bright and warm, full of happiness. Lily smiled shyly. I want us to always be together. Maria knelt down to hug her. We will be, Lily. Always. Life in the house continued with more joy than before. Maria helped Lily with school, shared stories, and cooked meals with her. Mrs. Thompson made more time for her daughter, and their family grew stronger. One afternoon, Mrs. Thompson called Maria to the study again. This time, she had a special invitation. Maria, she said, would you like to come with us on a trip next month? It will be a chance to relax and enjoy time together as a family. Maria was surprised but deeply honored. I would love to, ma'am. Thank you. The news spread among the staff, and Maria noticed the smiles and nods of approval. The respect she had earned was now visible to all. The day of the trip arrived. Maria, Lily, and Mrs. Thompson packed their bags and traveled to a small countryside cottage by a peaceful lake. The fresh air, quiet surroundings, and nature's beauty felt like a new beginning for all of them. They spent their days exploring, playing, and simply enjoying each other's company. Maria helped Lily catch butterflies and taught her how to bake bread over an open fire. Mrs. Thompson relaxed and laughed, the weight of work lifted for a time. One evening, as the sun set over the lake, the 3 of them sat by the water's edge. The sky was painted with colors of orange and pink, reflecting the warmth in their hearts. Mrs. Thompson looked at Maria and said, "Thank you for everything you have done for our family. You are more than a helper, you are a part of us." Maria smiled, feeling the love and acceptance she had long wished for. "You are like family to me, too." Lily snuggled close to Maria. "I love you, Maria." Maria hugged her tightly. "I love you, too, Lily." As the stars began to twinkle, Maria realized how far she had come. From a humble maid sharing food with a hungry child to becoming a beloved member of a family, her life had changed in ways she never imagined. She understood now that kindness, trust, and love could create bridges where none seemed possible. The big house on Maple Street was no longer just a place of work or duty. It was a home filled with laughter, dreams, and the promise of a bright future for all who lived there. And Maria knew that whatever challenges might come, she would face them with courage, hope, and the love of her new family beside her. This was not just an ending, it was a new beginning.